Welcome to the Three Mouseketeers, the sibling podcast that understands your Disney addiction. I'm Jared.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Emily.
Today's episode, we're going to be talking about attractions and rides that are going to be either refurbished or removed from our own list. This is not something that Disney is doing, but this is something that we wanted to do. And we are going to actually do it at all of the parks at Disney World. So before we get into that, we're going to do some trivia. Are you guys ready to play?
Yep.
Okay, we're not doing trivia per se. We're doing character quotes.
Oh man, we're so good at these.
But I do have multiple choice for you.
Yay.
Okay.
So at least you have 4 answers to choose from. All right. The quote is, "You're weird, but I like you."
I know.
Do you? Okay. So is it A, Lilo? Is it B, Dot? Is it C, Thumper? Or is it D, Todd?
Who is Todd?
Todd is from Fox and the Hound.
Fox and the Hound.
Okay. I sat there for a second and I was like, I don't know a Todd, but yes, I do. Okay.
It's just a random guy, Todd, that I've talked to before.
He got the coffee shop every day.
Oh, man. Okay, so the quote is, "You're weird, but I like you."
You're
right?
weird, but I like you.
Okay. I think I know it.
I think so too.
Okay.
Because my initial instinct before he even said the options was Lilo. I can hear her saying it.
Yep, me too. That was my initial reaction as well. I could hear Lilo's voice saying it. I did, however, whenever you read the multiple choice and you said Dot as well, for a second I was kind of like, is it Dot? But no, it's definitely Lilo.
Okay. I'm glad that you guys talked about thinking that through. Is that your final answer, Lilo?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you are both incorrect. It is, in fact, Dot.
No!
You're lying.
I am not lying.
See?
It is, in fact, Dot.
I told you. I had that instinct where I was like, did Dot say that? But then I went back to Lilo but they both have kind of similar voices.
I promise Lilo says something similar to that. If it's not exactly that, it's something very similar.
I know. I feel like she does as well. I guess Dot says that to... No, she's... Who does she say that to?
To Flick.
To Flick? I was going to say to Flick, but then I was thinking maybe it was one of the carnival bugs.
It's the moment, if I'm remembering correctly, it's the moment where he gives her the, not the magnifying glass, but the telescope made out of grass and the dewdrop.
Yeah, that's why I said I felt like it could be Dot as well, but I do feel like Lilo says something to Stitch along those same lines.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I threw Lilo in there. I tried to get characters on this list that would be like very similar mannerisms and similar ways of speaking. So, yeah. The answer is B. Dot.
Okay, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Emily, go ahead and give us a history fact.
Okay, so for today's history fact, I wanted to talk a little bit about Marvel because I feel like we always just talk about Disney World, Disneyland, strictly Disney movies, or like traditional Disney movies, I guess, but we never talk about Marvel.
So the person who refuses to watch Marvel movies wants to talk about Marvel.
Well, I'm just in a Marvel kind of mood lately because of the opening.
Watching
No, I've been watching a lot of YouTubers go and ride the new Guardians of the Galaxy ride. That's basically what it comes down to.
I do want to ride that ride.
So do I. And I also am going to watch Guardians of the Galaxy again this week because of it. And so it has me thinking about Marvel. So anyway, thank you. Back to the history. Disney bought Marvel for $4.24 billion in 2009. And at the time, that kind of wasn't seen as the best deal, like Disney acquiring Marvel, because although Marvel was popular, it hadn't been insanely popular recently, I guess, right before Disney bought it. They did release Iron Man, and that was kind of their really big, like, saving grace. And then, of course, they had Spider-Man before that. But Disney was still kind of giving, like, sideways looks about it, which I thought was really funny. But, yeah, and then, of course, after that deal, Disney has kind of ran with Marvel and come out with the entire Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy and all of that. And now they even have the spinoffs on Disney Plus. So it was obviously a good deal for them. But yeah, $4.24 billion.
Yeah.
I think they've definitely made up for spending that to buy it.
Oh,
They-
for sure. They have. Yeah. It benefited them for sure. Just at the time, Marvel, I guess, wasn't doing as well as they are now that Disney took it over.
Yeah, well, just because Disney's making it a focus to put out content for Marvel. Marvel wasn't necessarily putting out a bunch of content because they didn't really necessarily need to. But I mean, if you're going to spend $4 billion on a certain, I guess, company, an umbrella of characters, you're going to use them. You're going to make a lot of content to get that money back. Very, very similar thing to what Disney did with Star Wars as well.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because both of them were looked at, as not great deals.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but I think
I
Disney
actually-
kind of made fools of all of us.
I actually just listened not too long ago to Bob Iger's book, and he talks about purchasing Marvel in his book. It's actually a really good story. If you haven't already read or listened to his book, you should definitely give it a go.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's a really good book.
I have not finished it. I started it and never finished it. I need to go back and read it again. But I was going to say that I read something about him with Marvel and with Star Wars. He went to the meetings with the CEO of those companies, like, on his own, like, without his whole Disney team, I guess,
Yeah.
to show them that he was, like, really serious about it and wanted to just talk with them, which I thought was interesting.
Well, it's really interesting about Star Wars specifically because George Lucas had a working relationship with Disney before Bob Iger even was CEO. Obviously, with Star Tours and stuff like that, it seemed like George Lucas was already thinking if he was going to sell it to anybody, it would be Disney.
Right.
As it should be.
But I don't know that if it would have been anybody else in that position other than Bob Iger, I don't know that it would have happened.
Yeah.
Because
No,
he had
I
a working
completely agree with that.
relationship with him before Disney too. So
I'm going out there on a limb. I used to think it was Eisner, but I really think beyond Walt Disney himself, I think Iger really put Disney in the best positioning that it's ever been in.
oh yeah,
Oh,
only for it to be
definitely.
ruined afterwards.
Yeah.
Yes. But no, to me, he was by far the best CEO Disney had since Disney.
I agree. Most definitely.
No, that's really cool. I mean, think about where Disney would be right now if they didn't buy Marvel. Like, it seems like Marvel is their biggest breadwinner right now.
It's pretty up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if they wouldn't have bought Marvel, I don't know that they would have ended up buying Star Wars.
I think they probably would have.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think showing what they did with Marvel made George Lucas believe that they could do well with Star Wars too.
See, and I'm in the camp of George Lucas was already in the mindset that, like I said, if he was going to sell it to anybody, he would sell it to Disney
Right, but
because
I
they
don't
had
know
that
that he
working
wanted to sell it
relationship.
all.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not sure that he wanted to sell it all either
But
until the opportunity presented itself.
right, but it didn't happen right away. I mean, it
No, it
took
didn't.
a long time for Bob Iger to be able to convince him to do it. But I think buying Marvel helped nudge him a little more
Oh
into
yeah,
it.
I definitely think it helped in being able to say, "Hey, look what we did with this." But I don't think that if they didn't get Marvel, that they would have just never got Star Wars.
I just don't know that they would have it yet.
I think they would.
You never know.
All right, well, very cool. Amanda, how about a tip?
All right. Well, I know a lot of people do not live close enough to Disney to be able to drive. I wish I lived close enough to Disney to drive, but I don't. I have to fly when I go to Walt Disney World. So I wanted to just talk about what airport you should fly into if you're going to Walt Disney World. Um, there are a lot of options in Central Florida, but your best option is always going to be Orlando International Airport. So it's about 20 miles or so away from Walt Disney World. And when Disney was doing the Magical Express and had the free transportation, that's the only airport that it went to. And so I think that made it a no-brainer to fly in there. But now that Magical Express isn't there anymore, you do have other options. So you can kind of shop around and see what your best price is on your flights before deciding which airport to fly into. A couple of other options would be Sanford International, which is also in Orlando. It's about 49 miles from Walt Disney World. If you plan to go to the beach before or after your trip, you could also look at Daytona Beach International if you are going on the Atlantic side of Florida. It's about 74 miles. Or you could go to Tampa International on the Gulf side, and it is about 78 miles from Walt Disney World.
All right, so let's give the acronym for the closest one, which is MCO. So if you're searching
Correct.
on any flight database, you can just search MCO and it'll bring you directly to the closest airport. One thing that I definitely want to mention is if you're going straight to Disney, then you might want to consider, how much it's going to cost you in taxi fare or rental car, whatever it may be, however you decide to get there.
Right. And these outside airports, it's probably going to be better if you're renting a car. But that's where, if you're already planning to go to the beach either before or after your trip to Walt Disney World, you're probably going to need a car anyway. So you can fly straight into one of those airports if it's cheaper and just rent a car for your whole trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do like to have a beach vacation tagged on to their Disney vacation, especially if they're coming from some place that doesn't have a beach nearby. So I think that that's a good tip to mention.
Yeah, I do know flights into MCO can be a little more expensive. So I wanted to give everybody the option just in case. Never hurts to try.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this best beach, like closest to Disney, is Blizzard Beach.
Oh, good grief.
All right, let's go ahead and get into our segment of the week. And this week we have Disney bounding. Emily, what do you got for us?
Okay, so as I said earlier, I'm just really feeling Marvel, specifically Guardians of the Galaxy, because of the new ride opening. So I was inspired by that, and I went with Disney bounding as Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy. And I will have this posted on our social media so you can look at it and follow along while I talk about it. And you can find us at the number 3M podcast. Okay, so for my Gamora Disney bounding look, I did take into consideration that it's summer, so I went with some shorts instead of pants. And she has like a very like kind of tough girl sort of vibe to her.
Almost like a biker vibe.
Yes, so I definitely had that reflect in the outfit. So I picked some black leather or fake leather shorts. And then for a top, I went with just a tank top that's black and has some like crisscross in the front, because if you really look at Gamora, she has pretty much that same sort of design on her shirt. And then for over that, I went with kind of like a black jean biker vest with some studs on it. And I really like I said, went with that tough girl sort of outfit. And then for shoes, I just went with some black high top Vans. And then the accessories are always my favorite part of an outfit. I found a really cute Guardians of the Galaxy backpack, and I picked that because I wanted people to know that this was Guardians of the Galaxy themed, like for sure. So I thought that that was fun, and it does have Gamora on there as well. And then some green earrings. And for a headpiece, I went with a magenta colored headband, or you could do like a ribbon or something. But I just wanted to um, represent the kind of magenta hot pink color that she has in her hair. And then to finish off the look, I would definitely do a green eyeshadow if you wear makeup, because she's green, but you're obviously probably not going to paint yourself green. So, just to kind of represent that, I thought green eyeshadow on your skin would be kind of cool. And that completes the look.
Very cute.
Yeah, I completely agree. I could see this as like a Halloween Disney bounding, kind of like what we were talking about last episode.
Yeah, definitely. And I think because I'm not one that typically wears makeup to the park, but I think maybe for something like that, like a special event, or if you're really just going to like ride the new ride and take some pictures, then kind of a dramatic like green eyeshadow would be good for that.
Yeah. My really only concern with the whole outfit are the shorts, especially in the summer. I'm afraid I would fry in them.
But okay, I was kind of thinking the same thing, but then I thought about it, and I've had black faux leather shorts before, and they were super thin. Like you wouldn't think so because they looked like leather, but actually touching them, they were very thin and comfortable. So you can
Thin, but do
find
they
some.
breathe?
I feel like they did because they weren't real leather, and they weren't, I don't know what they were made out of, honestly. Kind of more like a legging material, I guess.
Okay.
So
If
you
they're
could find something
leggings,
like that.
yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I'm thinking more like they're like plastic pants, you know what I mean? And that just
Yeah.
seems like miserable.
Well, I think another good option for that, like if you still want the kind of like leathery look, you could do like some biker shorts that are in, you know how they have that legging, it's just legging material, but it kind of is a little bit reflective and looks like
Yeah,
leather a little bit. So you could do biker shorts or something. The options are endless. This is just my take on it.
it is very cute.
If you wanted to
Thanks.
do something a little bit different, maybe you could do like a pleather pleated skirt.
Yeah, that would be a good option too.
So I think my favorite part is the headband, actually. I think it's a nice touch to go along with her tips on her hair.
Yeah, and I was also thinking, like, if you were gonna do this for, the Not So Scary Halloween party, which I know is super far away, but still, it's never too early to plan your outfit. You could even do, like, some clip-in hair extensions in that same color,
That'd be
just to
cute.
Yeah.
kinda take it take it over the top a little bit.
Oh, and there are people who will take it over the top. So
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
They might paint their whole body green.
Could be possible. Yeah.
I really like the shoes, honestly. I think they're cute.
They'd be comfortable for the park too.
Yeah, I mean, you
Just
can't
some
go wrong with any
sneakers.
high top Vans.
Yeah.
All right, well, good job as always, Em. Let's go ahead and get into our main topic. Our main topic, like we said at the top of the episode, we're going to be talking about rides that we can either remove from the parks or refurbish. And we've all selected 2 from each park at Walt Disney World. So I think we're going to start with Magic Kingdom, because why not?
Okay.
What do you guys think?
My first one would be Space Mountain.
Okay.
And the reason why is because, first of all, I think they need the 2-person seats, just
Mhm.
because it's hard for little kids to ride that ride, being all alone on a seat, I feel like. And I don't think my daughter would have been as scared if I would have been able to sit beside her.
So are you
So,
saying that this ride should be removed or refurbished?
refurbished.
Okay.
So, like I said, I think it needs a 2-person seat. And I also think right now that ride is rough. It hurts to ride that ride sometimes just because it's so rough. So I feel like they could smooth it out a little bit and I would like it more.
Yeah, I mean, you do make valid points. I cannot disagree with the things that you just said. They're true. I love Space Mountain, and I will ride it every single time, at least probably 2 times. But I
Until you throw your
agree.
back out.
Exactly. I agree, it does hurt a little bit, and even for me, like, it's scary sitting by yourself and not, like, feeling someone next to you.
I think it's perfectly fine the way it is. Not really. It is a little bit rough. I do think that they could smooth it out a little bit, so I agree with you on that. I mean, the carts are a little bit smaller. I think adding, instead of just the one seat, adding another seat to each row might be, well, first off, it would help with, kids being able to ride with an adult next to them, but it would also help with the line.
Capacity. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I don't think you can really go wrong with that one. I mean, I just feel like it's been a very long time since it has been refurbished, so it couldn't hurt. I do love the theming though, and I think that they should keep that all the
Oh,
same.
yeah, I
Just
agree.
yeah, just change the vehicles, smooth out the track. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with one that I think a lot of people are going to be upset with me for. And I'm going to go straight for the jugular and go with Small World. I
Oh
don't,
my gosh.
I think we can
Jeez.
get rid of it. I really
You
think we can get
I
rid of it.
do not agree
And
with you at all.
here's
I
the
don't
reason
either.
I say we can get rid of it. It's not the original. If we're talking about Disneyland, keep the one at Disneyland. Perfectly fine with it
But
staying there. But
the
this
one
one
at
specifically.
Disneyland isn't the original anymore. They've changed it. So, yes, the building itself is the same as the pretty much the original, but inside it has like Disney characters. Whereas the one at Walt Disney World is more true to the original
That's
where it
fair.
doesn't have the characters throughout.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point.
Okay, so then here's the whole thing then. Like if Disney's willing to do that at Disneyland, then they can just get rid of this one altogether. Because
Yeah.
if the one at Disneyland is
Mhm.
not sacred anymore, then why is this one?
You know, I don't love this ride and I don't go on it most of the time that I go to the parks, but I think that it is a ride that's easygoing and it's something that like maybe older people enjoy and also little bitty kids would enjoy. So I think it has its like
Its
perfect
place.
people
Yes.
and yeah. And I just think, it's That song, although it gets stuck in your head, although it's creepy, it's a classic Disney song that I don't wanna see go.
No thanks.
Exactly. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean that it isn't a good ride.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people that would agree with me.
Probably, but there's
Then
also a
skip
lot
the
of people who
ride.
wouldn't.
There is still a long line for that ride.
Mhm. It's true.
So just because you don't like it doesn't mean that it isn't a valid ride.
All right. Well, Emily, what do you got?
Okay, so my first one that we can just go ahead and throw out is the magic carpets. And I feel like okay, it is kind of fun to ride like when there's I'm gonna be honest, like I'll ride it if there's no wait at all and I'm happen to be walking by, I'll go get on it and try to like spray my husband with the camel, you know? Uh, but it's not fun for other people because you get wet, number 1. Number 2, it's just a copy of Dumbo, and number 3, it's just like a carnival ride basically. We don't need it. There could be something better.
But the thing is, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with you. It is like they have lots of those little rides that just go around in a circle. However, in that footprint where that ride is, there's not much else you can put there.
No, and so I was thinking about that as well because I was like, you can't really put a ride there, but maybe you could put some sort of like, I don't know, let's make the Dole Whip stand bigger or something and
Yes.
or put a bar there. It's like a
More Dole
round,
Whip for
not a
everybody.
bar, but like a, you know, like a snack counter or something that's like a circular, I don't know, something else could go there besides the carpets.
Well, I think the thing is with that specific area is they needed something to attract people to that would kind of people eater, basically.
Yeah.
Make people stand in line, have a ride so that it kinda takes away some of the people from Jungle Cruise and Pirates of the Caribbean and gives them
Yeah.
somewhere to go.
I agree with that, but I don't think that it really does that because even on the busiest days, that line is still almost a walk on.
I don't know. It's usually, whenever I'm there, at least 30 minutes. But if you're thinking about how many people are standing in line for 30 minutes for that ride, think about how much longer all the other rides around there would have.
I guess, I don't know. I feel like they could do something else. Even maybe like a character interaction. Put Aladdin and Jasmine there and have people meet and greet them. I don't know.
They're
I
right
just
behind there.
move them there. They could do something better. It's just it's not it. They have too many of those rides.
I agree with that.
Like I said, I don't disagree, but it still does get a lot of people.
Hmm.
Even though there's Dumbo, there's still a lot of people in that line. All right. So my next one is Carousel of Progress. I know M is going to love that.
No.
So are you
And
removing or refurbishing?
well, for me, you could remove it, but I'm not necessarily suggesting removing it. Once again, I do think it has its place there, but I definitely think it needs to be refurbished. I would love to see them update it and bring it further along than 1960. I was thinking they could change it to like 1970, then 1990, 2010, and 2030 maybe as the future. Or do like an every 50-year thing and do 1890. So that one would stay basically the same, just updated a little bit. 1940, so they would move the third one into the second spot and update a little bit. Then do 1990 and then 2040.
I could see that. I mean, I like that you at least said refurbish and not remove because as we know, I do love this attraction, but I do understand like sometimes, you know, you go in there and the mannequins are glitching or the animatronics, I mean, are
Her heads
glitching
fall
and
off or a
exactly.
hand.
Yeah. I understand it needs some updating and some help, but at the same time, I kinda love those old animatronics. So but it's just me, it's a sentimental thing, I think.
Yeah. I think the actual theater itself probably needs to be updated too.
Yeah,
They can make the seats a little bit more comfortable, and then we could all just take naps. Be great.
some of us do that anyway.
So my second one, I was going to do Seven Dwarfs Mine Train
What?
Why?
because as a bigger guy, those carts are very tiny.
You're
Just
And
right.
squeeze, Jared, squeeze.
I have to, trust me.
Suck it in.
That's why I don't really ride that much. I'll ride it once at most. But I'm not going to go with that. I am actually going to go with Tomorrowland Speedway. And surprise, surprise, I'm not removing it. I'm just refurbishing it.
Hmm.
And you know how
Okay.
much I don't necessarily like this ride. I never ride it. I just walk right past it. But I think that it does hold a place for the kids to be able to go and, feel like they're an adult for a few minutes. Uh, but I think that it does need a refurbishment.
I
It's
agree with
it's
that.
basically just
Me
go
too.
karts on a track, and we need to update that. I think if it is going to go by its namesake, which is Tomorrowland Speedway, it shouldn't be 1980 Speedway.
Yeah.
I I agree with that, and, like, go-karts are fun, but Tomorrowland Speedway really is not that fun.
No.
So and I've also heard it said that Tomorrowland Speedway is single-handedly contributing to the pollution of the world.
Yep.
Because if you just walk by there,
Yeah.
you're, like, suffocated with the smell of the, like, cars.
And that's
Do you
So
why I
think
think
they
that it can
could
be updated to an all
yes,
electric version of the
I
ride,
agree with
either
that.
with solar panels on the cars or possibly just a electrical track that they would be guiding on.
I
see,
agree
I
with
was
that.
thinking like a magnetic track would be
That's
kinda cool.
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say maybe something that's, like, where the cars just kinda glide over the track,
Yeah.
and, that would be pretty cool. I do like the only thing that I enjoy about the Speedway really is going around and kind of, like, having a scenic view of things, just a leisurely ride. So I like that about it, but not enough to go on it, so I definitely think they could update.
Yeah. I feel like it's different when you have little kids and the memories you make riding around with them and their first time driving the car. I think that holds a lot of memories for me with all 3 of my kids. So
Yeah.
I'd hate for them to totally get rid of it, but I do think it needs an update. Most
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely. I don't think they should get rid of it though, because I mean, I feel like it's a cool ride, it's fun. Just make it better.
Now, I do want to say this: if they did get rid of it completely, that leaves a lot of area for a pretty cool ride. Just saying. But no, I
Yeah,
completely agree. I think that it could just be updated to really be the Tomorrowland Speedway instead of, like
yeah,
I said, something that's stuck in the past.
Right.
I agree. Okay, so my last one was actually also going to be Tomorrowland Speedway,
Oh,
but
nice.
since you already talked about it and pretty much had the same points that I did, I will give my honorable mention, which was Astro Orbiter.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, that one
and
can
Yeah.
go.
this, yeah, so this one, honestly, same sort of thing as Magic Carpet. Like that's 3 of those go in a circle flying rides within one park. That's a bit too much. We only need 1. Let's leave it at Dumbo. And I feel like they could make something really cool right there, like get rid of it completely and make some sort of cool rocket ride that's like not, like an exciting rocket ride in its
Something Stitch
place.
themed.
Stitch themed would be great.
That's not very much space to work with, though.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be some sort of, like, upwards launch ride.
Maybe a drop ride.
Or like some sort of like simulation ride where you're inside of a building and not, like they can just make it round or something, because it isn't a lot of space, but I feel like they could do something with it that's better than Astro Orbiter, because that thing is also terrifying. You feel like you're gonna fall out the whole time.
You
I
could
think I think that the answer probably is like a drop ride, like
I
something
think
that
that's
just slowly
really,
goes up and then just drops.
yeah, like a dungeon drop type thing from space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um
but it would have to be a little more, because there's so many of those drop rides like everywhere, like even in carnivals and fairs and stuff.
yeah,
It would have to be something that was like obviously more innovative
themed.
than
Well,
just a
yeah,
drop ride.
Disney would be able to come up with something innovative
Yeah.
there, I think.
Yeah.
But essentially, it would be kind of the same.
You could put
Yeah.
like swings up there. Can you imagine doing swings off of that? Holy moly.
That would be scary.
That would be scary. I would not be riding it, but I bet there would be people that would.
Probably.
Yeah. Point is, I think it needs to go.
Yeah, I can see that. I agree with that.
Yeah, me too. I don't ever ride that, so I'm okay with it going.
All right, let's move along. Animal Kingdom. What do you guys got for Animal Kingdom? I think we're all gonna say the same one.
I don't know. Let's hear
Navi
what you
River.
got. No, I don't have that one.
Really?
Really?
I
You
I
said
think that
Navi
one.
River.
Yeah, I think that one can go. I think they can
Oh.
replace it with something.
Okay.
I mean,
Why?
especially with the new Avatar coming out, I think they can do something completely different with that area. It's just it's not one that I'm gonna sit there and stand in line for all that time. It's not worth it to me.
I don't disagree with the amount of time you stand in the line compared to how long you're actually on the ride. But the inside of it to me is actually really cool. It's just
Yeah.
really short. So I wouldn't necessarily get rid of it. It's a great ride for kids and for older guests who can't ride some of the faster, more adventurous rides that Animal Kingdom has. So I don't think getting rid of it would be a great idea, just because then there's really nothing else for anybody to ride, for everybody to ride. It's the only one there, and that's, I think, why the line is always so long, is because it's really the only ride, except maybe for Kilimanjaro safaris, that everybody can really ride.
Yes, but to that point, you can make something very similar, but build up instead of just having the one level and making it a water ride. You can build it to where you have a multi-level, almost like a haunted mansion type ride, where everybody can ride. It's a slower moving ride, but it's updated in theme for what the new Avatar movies are going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point, but I don't know. I liked it. I think I've only ridden it once actually, and it is a very short ride, but it is very beautiful and relaxing, and I did enjoy it in the little amount of time that I was on the ride. But you can tell that they spent all the money on Flight of Passage,
Oh,
and
yeah.
this was the like
Yes.
leftover, oh my gosh, we have to do something else.
Right.
But it's still beautiful.
It is. It is a beautiful ride, and that's why I don't necessarily think it should go.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
which one do you think should go? Or which one are you going to let it go or refurbish, I guess?
My first one would be Dinosaur.
Okay.
Um, that's another one. It's a really rough ride. And I know that's part of what makes the ride is because, I mean, you're riding in a Jeep, whatever. It's supposed to be a little jerky and stuff, but it hurts. That ride hurts. And it's not very family friendly. My
Who
5-year-old,
doesn't love scared children?
right? Terrified children that have nightmares for weeks. It's
Yes.
fantastic. I I just think that there's something that they could do better there. Um, And I think it needs to be something that's more family friendly. That is a big space, and I think there's a lot that they could do.
Yeah, I agree, because this was actually my second one on my list, but I'll come up with another one.
Wow. See, I actually enjoy this ride. I do agree. Like, sometimes I do think it zooms you through there a little too fast and it's all a little too dark, but I do genuinely enjoy it. And I like the dinosaur theme. And I think that they need some of that, like, educational, um, like those rides with dinosaurs and that sort of theming. So if they were gonna redo this, I would like it to still be dinosaur themed. But I see that there's problems with it, but I like it and I would keep it.
Well, then what's your first one?
My first one is Cali River Rapids.
Really?
It is.
Hmm.
And it's funny because I used to love this ride like so much. And now I think I'm just too old for it. And I really don't want to be walking around soaking wet, getting blisters on my feet and legs from my pants. You know, like it's just kind of miserable after you ride this ride. And on top of that, there's really no like true Disney theming on the ride. Like, I know what they're going for. I know the backstory of conservation, and that's a cool theme, but they could have done it a lot better.
I will say that at the end of the ride, you do get the best free entertainment that you can ever find in Disney, and that is spraying people.
Yeah, but you don't have to ride the ride to spray people.
True.
You don't necessarily
And
have
if
to
the
ride the
ride
ride to
isn't
spray people, but if
if
there's
the ride
nobody
isn't
riding the
fair,
ride, you can't spray people
true.
Listen, we could just refurbish it instead of take it away, I guess.
and just make it a
If
water
you
gun that you just spray the passersby.
no, if you were to like completely theme this ride and still have the conservation message, but like actually make it Disney theming and not just like a ride that you can ride at SeaWorld or anywhere else, then I would be more willing to get absolutely drenched and stay that way for the entire day. But as it is right now, I'm kind of just like, it's not worth the misery that follows.
Okay, I've got to say, so we're going on our next vacation to Walt Disney World in June, so next month. And I cannot wait to ride this again because we usually go in the winter, so we don't ever ride.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
bring ponchos.
I plan on bringing ponchos. I've already bought like foam shoes that I can wear and get wet so that I
There
can
we go.
change into tennis shoes afterwards.
Yeah, you
So
definitely
I'm
have to
prepared.
plan around what you
Mhm.
wear for this
You
Yes.
ride,
do.
or you can bring a change of clothes.
You can.
Yeah, but
I
that's
mean, they have
just
lockers you can use.
I know. It's just like I said, I just don't think the theming is good enough and the ride's pretty short. There's just a lot of things that add up that like I think that they could do better on this ride for sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, if they wouldn't have already closed it, I would say Primeval Whirl, because that's just
Mhm.
not a great ride. I always
No.
felt like I was going to fall off that ride. Like
Yes.
every
Well, it's
single
definitely
time I
a
rode it.
carnival ride, and that
Yes.
I don't really feel like it had a place at Disney World.
Right.
No.
But with that same thought in mind, like that whole area, I think could be redone. I know that they have like the carnival games and they have little triceratop spin, whatever it may be called. I can't remember the name of it.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, I knew it was something similar. But I think that it could be something different. What it could be, I don't know. But
Um
I think that it needs to be updated.
You say you don't know what it could be, but it could literally be an awesome dinosaur themed area. Like, why did they go carnival dinosaur theme and not actual dinosaur theme? Think about what Disney could do if they actually put money into a dinosaur themed land.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be amazing.
I think they wanted something for the smaller kids, like the carnival games and the smaller ride, something that we would get like a Dumbo ride. Uh, because there's just not a whole lot for the younger kids other than like going to the shows and seeing the animals and stuff like that. But as for rides, there's not like a whole lot of other
No.
rides that are smaller child friendly.
I definitely think that's something that Animal Kingdom is lacking,
Yeah.
is rides geared toward younger kids. So I can see why people with younger kids think it's just a half-day park.
Yes.
I know that totally not the topic of our episode, but I think you can make it a full day park if you wanted to by doing all the extras,
Oh,
like
yeah.
actually seeing the animals and stuff. But I think people that are newer to Disney, especially, go to the parks with like riding rides in mind and don't even realize that there's all of the like it's
There's so
practically a
many.
wildlife
Yeah.
reserve and a zoo and like
Yeah,
it's amazing what you can find if you go off the beaten path a little bit.
it is, but also people are thinking, "We have a zoo where we live. Why do we need to go to Orlando, Florida to go to a zoo?"
'Cause it's so much better, and they treat their animals probably better.
Yeah, but whenever you see an elephant here, you see an elephant there, you can't tell that they're treated different. So I'm just saying, I understand where people are coming from. I love Animal Kingdom, so I would spend all day there or multiple days there. But I can see where people say that.
I could probably ride uh, a couple rides there all day long. I mean, Flight of Passage for sure. I would love to ride
Mhm.
multiple times, and then Expedition Everest. I could just literally get off and get right back on.
Well, speaking of Flight of Passage, that is my second one
No way.
What?
because it needs to be updated.
What?
So lately, when people have been riding it, the screen is a little off. So even with your 3D glasses, it's still blurry. And so it's making people sick, motion sick.
Okay.
So I feel like they just need to update it. It needs to be refurbished and they need to fix the glitches with the screens and the timing so that people don't get sick on it.
And I mean, it's perfect timing with Avatar 2 coming out. So I could see that.
Right.
Hmm. Okay. I've only been on this ride one time and I cried out of happiness. So, I
Yes.
can't speak on that. It's been a long time though.
It's a great ride. I love that ride and I definitely don't want them to get rid of it. I just want them to update it,
Gotcha.
fix the problems it's having.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so my last one, I feel like based on my past two, y'all already know what it is. Because apparently I just went with the theme of the circle carnival rides and I went with Triceratops Spin pretty much for the same reason that Jared said the whole dinosaur land. Like, it just doesn't belong at Disney to me. Like, nothing about it says Disney, it says local fare. And yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
I
all I
mean,
really have to say about that.
carnival
I mean,
rides.
I see what you're saying, but there are 2 rides for little kids.
Well,
You
yeah,
have
they can
to
replace it with something else.
they can replace it with something else. I don't really see that there's anything wrong with it. My kids love riding that ride, so I think it does have a place there. Like some of the other ones, just because we don't like them doesn't necessarily mean that they really have to go. We just can skip them.
I just think that whole land has to go, though. It has to be better. It's just a concrete, extremely hot, no shade. Like, I don't know. I really genuinely feel like I am at my local fair that comes around once a year when I'm back there.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that. Um, I don't know really how they could keep it dinosaur themed though, but different. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not that imaginative right now, I guess.
I can see lots of ways.
Yeah. I mean, it's Disney. They always have something in mind, right? All right, let's move on to Epcot. I think I'm gonna get some hate mail for this one. I'm gonna go with Living with the Land. I think it can
You
be
are.
refurbished. I'm not gonna get rid of it.
You're getting
Okay.
hate mail from me.
How are you going to refurbish this?
I think it just can be updated.
So, newer fruits and vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm. Disney can make their own new fruits and vegetables. Yes.
oh, okay.
So, what yeah, like what would it just be like you're updating the boats and the like atmosphere? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, just update the content. I think keep it the same theme, but just update the content.
Like the little movie part of it in
Yeah.
there and the voice.
Yeah.
Are we adding some drops in it or
No.
no?
A few
Okay.
upside downs. Okay.
You actually get to get out of the boat and go pick the cucumbers?
Yeah. That's it.
I mean, I feel like this ride is either one that like
You love it or hate it?
yes, like people are diehard fans or they can't stand it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, really, if I'm going to be completely honest, I knew that one of you at least was going to really hate this, and I am really dreading what you both probably have on your list. So we'll wait and see. But I'm almost positive what's going to happen here. All right.
You know it.
Yep. Amanda, why don't you go ahead and give that one because I know it's on your list.
It's Journey into Imagination.
Blasphemy.
oh
Yeah. I mean, I do like Figment, so I don't want them to get rid of Figment, but I do think this ride has seen better days. They either need to totally reimagine a new ride with Figment, or I'm even okay with them going back to the original and having the original ride. And then at least it is a classic, and you could say, okay, yeah, it's old, but it is a classic. So it's fun having it as a classic, if that makes sense. This just seems like it's stuck in the 80s or the 90s, and it needs to go.
Okay, I could see a refurbishment, but getting rid of it, no, do not get rid of it.
Yeah, most of mine aren't necessarily getting rid of. It's just updating, fixing,
Yeah.
changing a little bit.
But I will say this, Amanda, I hope you get skunked every single time. Emily, what's yours?
Mine is Mission Space.
Oh, yes, this was on my list too.
Yes.
It's surprisingly on my list as well.
That's good. It should be on everyone's list. And then maybe Disney will actually do something about this place.
Probably not.
I've actually I can't remember which one. They have the orange and the green level. I've only ridden the more mild. I can't remember which one that is. But even the more mild one gave me motion sickness, and I'm slightly claustrophobic. So and then the mild one, like, it still gave me motion sickness and I'm claustrophobic, but it was also boring at the same time.
Yeah.
But then I don't want to go on the extreme one and end up like in the hospital. So I just steer clear of here, and that's a big area that something could go in.
It is. I totally 100% agree. This needs to go. Nobody, like, there's never a line for that ride, really. So I think it had a place when it opened, and it was new and exciting then, but I think a lot of people were like one and done, and they're like, okay, we're good. We don't need to ride it anymore.
Yeah.
Who really wants to go and have so many G-forces on you that you can barely walk straight for the rest of the day? Like, seriously.
I know. I would literally probably have to go to the hospital if I did the real version. So that's a no-go for me. But any ride that they have to put barf bags in should be a no-go for everyone.
Right.
And then on top of that, the last time I rode it, the little screens that are supposed to make it look like you're like launching into space or whatever, like it's supposed to be a window, they looked kind of bad. Like they were kind of grainy and it just didn't look good.
Yeah. Yep, they could totally Get rid of it.
Yep.
It does not need to be refurbished. Just get
Nope.
rid of it. Put something else there. I do like that it's space themed, and now especially with Space 220 there, and the
I would
new
like to
Guardians
keep it
of the
space
Galaxy
themed.
ride.
Yeah.
I do think it needs to stay space themed,
Me too.
but it needs to be something different.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. So both of your other ones were Mission Space, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so then I can give my last one unless y'all have honorable mentions.
Oh, I could do an honorable mention.
No, go
Okay.
ahead.
Mine would be Test Track.
The
And
new version? Can we bring it back to the old version?
I like the old version.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you. Me too.
The new version doesn't seem to have a point.
I agree.
So I don't know. I think it needs to either be the original version or even like the Cars version from Disneyland, or I don't know, maybe you could do it some type of space theme too, which would, I don't know how you do it, but maybe you could do something space themed over there too. It's all kind of in the same area. So
A really fast moon rover.
Yeah.
or if you could do it like you're designing your own spaceship, that'd be cool.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I completely agree with this. I love Test Track. Like, it's such a fun ride, but I was so disappointed whenever they rethemed it. And then I went the first time and I was like, what is this? It's just a bunch of neon lights. Like,
Yeah.
where is the theming? There's none. Like, it used to have such a neat theme. Like, you were
Yeah.
the test dummy. That's awesome.
Exactly.
And they took it away, and now it's like a really bad version of Tron, and we're already getting a Tron coaster that's going to be really
Right.
cool. So,
We don't need it.
yeah, I can agree with that. That wasn't my last one, but I can agree with it.
Well, what was your last one, Em?
My last one was the Seas of Nemo and Friends. And for me, this just needs to be refurbished, not gotten. I don't want them to get rid of it because it is. I love the aspect of like going through the aquarium and you
Yeah.
see the actual live fish and stuff. I just think, and I love Finding Nemo, so even keep it Finding Nemo theme. I just think that it's a little like cheesy and I don't know. I like the song and it's not that I don't enjoy it, but I think it could be a lot better. So yeah.
Okay. Maybe they could do Finding Dory. Just
They
update
could.
it.
Yeah. And see, that's another thing because like it's Finding Nemo themed, but like I don't feel like there's a ton of like storyline. I don't know. It's just it kind of misses the mark for me.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not really a storyline. I don't feel like either. I don't know. It kind of sort of tells the story from Finding Nemo, but then it doesn't at the same
Yeah,
time. So it's kind of weird.
it's kind of like spotty. I don't know. I like I said, I like that it incorporates the actual fish and stuff, but I think that they could do something a little cooler with it.
Yeah. I do like that it goes directly into the aquarium afterwards.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's move on to Hollywood Studios. I'm going to start with Star Tours.
Okay.
Me too.
I am perfectly fine with that one either being A, refurbished, or B, just removed altogether and something else take place.
Yeah. I also said this and I said just removed because we already have like the newer Star Wars rides. And to me, this is kind of like Smuggler's Run, but an older version. I don't
Yeah.
know. So I don't think it needs to be there. It's kind of random now as well.
Yeah, I kind of wish they could move it back into Galaxy's Edge. I mean, I know it's a different time frame in that movie and a different planet or whatever, but I feel like it would fit better back there than where it is currently.
Yeah.
But I know there are a lot of people who love that ride. So I can't imagine actually getting rid of it. But I understand what you're saying because I do not ride that ride. It makes me sick. I can't ride it. So it would not hurt my feelings if it was gone, but I know there are a lot of people who love that ride.
Yeah.
My first in Hollywood Studios is going to be Little Mermaid. I know it's closed right now, and right now they aren't talking about bringing it back, but that's a lot of wasted space right now that they could do something else.
Yeah.
Um, I used to love when they had the shows that were very interactive. So like Deal or No Deal or American Idol when they had those. So I think if they could do something like that, that would draw a lot of people into it, especially like American Idol, because people their friends would try out for it. So they'd go and watch them several times a day. So it would eat people a lot. You know what I mean? So I'm not necessarily saying that, but something similar where you get audience involved would be good in that spot.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that as well. To be honest, I didn't even realize that the Little Mermaid show was still there. So,
The building is there, but the show is
The
not.
show is not.
They didn't bring
yeah.
it back after the closure, so
Well, I mean, even before everything closed down, I
Oh,
didn't realize it was
yeah,
still there.
Yeah.
it was there.
This was something that like I remember going on as a little kid, or not going on, but going into as a kid, and I don't know. I just didn't think it was around still. So I
Yep.
could agree with you. Well, since my first one was Star Tours, I'll give y'all my last one, which is Indiana Jones. I guess it's called, is it Stunt
Stunts.
Spectacular?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so
It
it's like
is
a
Epic
stage,
Stunt Spectacular.
epic stunt spectacular, sorry. Um, it's a stage show, and I just don't find myself going to this. So I think that based on going to Disneyland and riding the Indiana Jones ride, it makes me feel like this is kind of a waste of space and they could make an Indiana Jones ride that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So
But would they have enough space there for that?
I don't know if they would have enough space there, but I feel like they'd have enough space somewhere.
I'm almost
Yeah.
positive they have so much backstage space that they could probably make a ride out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, probably that's true because I'm sure they do have a lot of backstage space for the show. Yeah, I just think, I mean, I feel like it's been the same exact show for as long as I've been
For like
going to
40
Disney.
years.
Yeah.
Since
So,
or since MGM opened, actually.
exactly.
Um,
So,
I'm not saying that I necessarily disagree with the show. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't even remember it really. But they are supposed to be making a new Indiana Jones movie. So I do think it would be nice when the new movie came out if they would update it to the new movie so it's more relevant.
they could
Even
do
if they
that.
didn't just get rid of it totally. But I think updating would be good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do something like that.
I'm going to surprise you both. I'm going to go with Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh, that was my second one too.
Y'all are nuts.
It's so we've talked about this before, and I mean, I just think it needs a retheme. Aerosmith doesn't really have its place in Disney.
That's what I was thinking too. The theme doesn't fit. That's actually exactly what I wrote. The theme doesn't fit. It's outdated, and it's another one that's a little rough. So the ride needs to be smoothed out. It needs to be refurbished. Um, I know originally that was supposed to be old Hollywood and Aerosmith was Hollywood, whatever, but all of the park has changed now, and I don't feel like it really fits that anymore. And so I think it needs to be switched too. So I don't disagree, Jared.
I mean, really, in all honesty, with the Cars area right there next to it, it could be a Cars themed coaster.
Yeah, but then that's gonna like Cars is very much a children's movie, but then like little children wouldn't be able to go on it. So
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I don't know. It makes me sad even thinking about Rock and Roller Coaster being a different theme because I love it and I love it just the way it is.
I
I
love
love
the
the whole
ride.
rock and roll theme.
I
So,
love it too, but it's just if I had to do two rides, the only two I can really think of is Rock and Roller Coaster and Star Tours.
hmm, I don't know.
I
I'm keeping
just
it the
think they're the
same.
weakest links. Like if I had to do a more of an attraction, more of a show, I was thinking maybe the Muppets 3D and just revamp it. But there's a lot of nostalgia there for that attraction,
Yeah,
so
Mhm.
I don't think I'd want to change that one.
right.
I was just going to say I think I'd be scared that they're going to put some new pop star as the like theming of this ride,
No,
taking away Aerosmith, and
I don't want
that
any
would
other
just make me
musician.
sick.
Yeah.
No, and that's kind of what I was thinking too, that it needs to be something different just because the musician in Hollywood doesn't really seem to fit the park anymore. The
Yeah.
park has changed since even naming it Hollywood Studios. It's not the studio theme anymore. So what they would call the park, I have no idea, but it really needs to change. And so does the ride to not be concert slash rock themed anymore.
Yeah, that would just make me sad.
I do think there's a lot that they could do with it. With the roller coaster the way it is, I mean, smoothed out, but the way it is, but changing the theme. I've even heard before doing like Monsters Inc. and like it's riding through like the doors and everything.
Yeah.
I think that could be cool. You could even maybe make it something like with Zootopia, possibly, and riding through the town in Zootopia. That could be cool. I don't know. I think there's stuff that they could do with it that makes it updated and more relevant to today and makes it pulls it away from Rockstar
Yeah.
type.
I mean, you can put something Marvel. You can theme it Marvel.
Ugh.
The only thing is there's only so many properties that they could put there that are Marvel because of their requirements with their contract for it.
Yeah.
I honestly, if they were going to retheme this ride, I would really like them to just do something original and not do like IP. So,
So Emily's thinking Machine Gun Kelly, the ride.
Oh gosh. No.
I would not go. I would no longer be a Disney fan
no,
if
I
we
just
got
really
Machine Gun
think
Kelly the ride.
why would we get that first of all?
We
But
wouldn't.
I just think that I don't know. They don't do enough original stuff anymore, so that's the only thing that would maybe satisfy me.
In that park though, pretty much everything is IP. It's kind of the theme of that park, it feels like.
What if it's Rescuers Down Under or something like that?
I don't
I
know.
don't think that fits, but
Or maybe like Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
that may be cool.
I don't know. I just love like my eardrums being blasted with rock.
Maybe
But
they could
hey,
do kind of like Universal does where you get to choose the music you listen to.
that'd be pretty cool.
Just a thought. Since Jared stole my second one, I guess I will come up with another one. They're in it's kind of close to where Elsa the sing along is, and it's the vacation fun Mickey shorts basically. And they're really cute, but I just don't feel like they attract a lot of people in there watching cartoons. in a
Yeah.
theater. So I just think that there's something better they could do there.
Bring back Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
Well, that was normally in Epcot, but
True.
Doesn't matter. It fits the Hollywood Studios theme. That
So
would
that would be
attract
cool.
a lot of people, I think.
I agree with you.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our removal or revamp, retheme, refurbish episode. That's going to bring us into mousekeeping. We want to promote our YouTube channel. You can find that at bit.ly/T3M YouTube. That's all lowercase. Again, that link is bit.ly/T3M YouTube. You can find us on all social media platforms by searching at T3M Podcast. If you love the show, make sure you tell your family and friends where to find us. We only grow because of you spreading the word at home.
I'd love to plan your next magical getaway. Whether you're looking for a Disney vacation, Universal vacation, all-inclusive resort, international destination, or a cruise, I'm here to help. Contact me when you're ready for your free, no-obligation quote. And don't forget that my services are complimentary. You can find me on Facebook at Amanda.Hollis, Capture the Magic Vacations, or send me an email at amanda.hollis@capturethemagicvacations.com.
Be sure to subscribe to the show and join us every single Thursday to hear our newest episode.
That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for listening. You can also be a part of the magic by following the show at T3M Podcast on all social media platforms. That's T3M Podcast. Leave us a 5-star written review and we'll read it on an upcoming episode. If you have an announcement that you would like to have on the show or just want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at t3mpodcast@gmail.com.
Have a zippity-doo-dah day.
See you real soon.